Hey friends, this is Mrs. Volpe from Life with the Volpes, and this is One Roast Meals number 2 and 3. Now first off, I've been saving our T-bone steak bones that we have been grilling all summer. Because we can't chew the meat off, so we just cut it off. So we save these bones for just such an occasion. I'm just going to put a pot of cold water in on there. This is going in tomorrow's soup, but it's also going in Howie's lunch, so we'll do that next. That's going to cook all night. On low? Well, we'll get it on hot. We'll start, we put cold water in. Put it on high, and then before I go to bed, I'll put it on low. A little bit of coarse pickling salt there. Now we're going to make Howard's lunch for tomorrow. Well, he's going to get cheese and pickles. He's going to get cheese and pickles and bananas. But I'll make up his roast beef now. I'll do the sandwiches now and put them in the fridge for tomorrow. Now, this roast is nice and cold, so I should be able to slice it very thin because our teeth are getting old. Almost shave it, look. There we go. This isn't my good knife for this. Tonight we're having, it's Sunday, but we had our Sunday dinner yesterday, so tonight we're having macaroni and cheese for supper. Now, I can almost shave this, see? Because gone are the days when we can put a nice thick slab of roast beef on a sandwich and chew through it, you know? There we go. Now this will go back in the fridge until we have tomorrow's soup. Let's move you up towards that tip of Texas there. I always butter the bread. Why? Because if I was dieting, I wouldn't, or if it was just me, I wouldn't put butter on the bread. But because it sits in his lunchbox in the fridge at work, we don't want the mustard making the bread soggy, right? Yeah. Oh, look at that. Shaved so nice and thin, but with lots on there he can get his teeth into. Now, I put mustard on the top of the bread because Howie likes it spread out. Extra mustard, or just the right amount of mustard. Little bit of salt and pepper. Roast beef meal, because honestly, that's 2 servings. Ooh. Meal number 2. And I could get another 2 sandwiches out of that, but I'm going to put it in the soup because we really don't need all of that meat in the soup. I might have a sandwich tomorrow for lunch. And yes, I wash and reuse salad containers because they make great sandwich keepers. And just so you know, cream cheese tub, sour cream lid, this is what goes in Howie's lunch. 3 nice spears of cheese and a couple to 3 appropriately sized pickles. That goes in his lunch, and he takes 2 bananas. This is an old peach jar that I can my pickles in. Okay, so here I have my last jar of zucchini and tomato, a jar of carrots, a jar of home canned kidney beans, an onion, and some celery from our garden. Now, we got to take those bones. Never throw away a good bone, folks. These have been simmering all night. Oh, we got to get our meat out of the fridge, too. Look at that. There's still meat on a lot of these bones. Oh, but look. Look how nice and already rich this broth is. So I didn't need to take any broth out of the pantry. First goes, oh, 4 jars always pops. I'm gonna stick my knife in here, in these carrots, and just kind of cut them up a bit. I suppose I could use my potato masher, but it's not to hand right now. So, they're nicely, whoops, in they go. Oh, in goes our zucchini and tomatoes. Now, about a cup of celery, because this is a big crock. And I've got a great big onion, too. Let me put this in the fridge. Back in the freezer. Jar of kidney beans. 4 jars always pops. Even though we got meat, that sure adds some texture and protein. Get that nicely chopped. Fairly big. We don't like everything to be always exactly the same size, right? There we go. Now it's just after lunchtime. We still have a nice, I suppose I could put this in Howie's lunch. But you know what, folks? I could probably put this in the soup and the rest go into Howie's lunch. But you know what? We want lots of wonderful stuff in this soup. Hang on, Gracie, Mommy's coming. We'll cut these meat up a little bit smaller, spoon size, so to speak. And here is the last meal of our roast beef. Now, like I said, I could have got another lunch out of that, but I just wanted it in the soup. And now I'm going to take meat from these bones and drop that in there. Alrighty. Let's give this a stir. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. Kidney beans, celery, carrots. You know what else I'm going to put in here? I've had this dehydrated corn for years. I'm going to put some corn in there just to really bulk it up. And there we go. Soup is on. And we will be back at supper time. It's not quite 1 in the afternoon. Now, this has been happily bubbling away, and I still got a few hours to supper time. So I've added some dehydrated carrots and dehydrated green beans just to soak up some of that wonderful juice. I've been tasting this as we go along, and here is some of my home done celery salt. I'm just going to stir in there. Look at this, folks. This is going to be soup. We're going to get 2 suppers out of this soup. I don't want steam hitting the camera. It has been bubbling away. I'm going to shut it down to warm now. And I got like a half a cup of macaroni elbows here in this jar. I'm just going to toss those in. So look, just with leftovers and bits and pieces from the pantry. Isn't that gorgeous? We'll dish that up when Dad gets home. Wood's piled, chimneys cleaned, first fire of the year on the hearth. Sorry for the sound of my kettle, but Howard is home. And oh yes indeedy, I turned this down to warm because I always serve it and it's too hot for him. Now look, just look. Just look at that. All that homemade, home-canned, scratch-cooked goodness. I'm going to put a spoon in there so I can rest his bread on it. You can't have the soup, Gracie. It's got garlic and onions and all kinds of stuff in there.
I see a piece of beef with your name on it.
Daddy, take the juice off it so there's no garlic or onion on there. Yeah. She gets a bite of every meal he has.
Pretty much every meal I have.
Now, I made a huge pot of this. I boiled some of the T-bone steak bones I was saving. And then I added the leftover, the roast, and all kinds of odds and ends from the pantry. And there's enough in that crock pot for another night this week. Maybe with some homemade bread.
Oh, that would be nice. Nice on a nice, wet, cold night.
Thank you, dear. This is the Mrs. Wolfe from Life with the Wolfe saying that pot of soup is going to be another meal this week. So that will be 5 meals out of that one roast. Always, always squeeze it. Take care. God bless.